If you're a man and you want a happy and long-lasting relationship with the woman in your life, then this video is for you. Because a lot of good men don't lose their relationship, they lose themselves. And if you stick to the end, I'll show you what I had to change in my marriage so you don't repeat the same mistakes I made and can love her and keep her happy without disappearing. Let's get into it. So first I want to talk about the validation trap. What the problem is. Many men measure their worth in a relationship by how the woman feels about them. They don't ask, am I becoming the man I respect? They ask, does she still approve of me? Why the problem exists. Most of us were never taught how to validate ourselves emotionally, so we outsource that job to the person we love. But then love slowly turns into permission. In all of my past relationships, and even for a time in my marriage, I didn't really have a strong sense of self. It almost felt like I could only call myself a valid partner, maybe even a valid man, if the woman in my life said I was. If she was happy with me, I was okay. If she wasn't, I felt like I was failing. For you, it might look like becoming overly agreeable, avoiding conflict at all costs, losing hobbies, routines, or ambition, feeling anxious whenever she's upset, even if it has nothing to do with you. Different symptoms, same issue, trapped in seeking approval. And the longer a relationship goes on, the more of this way of loving starts to show its cost. Really quick, if you're getting value, hit like and subscribe. It helps us reach more men who need this message. So next I want to talk about the slow resentment shift, why it gets worse over time. What the problem is. Over time, the relationship quietly becomes centered around her priorities, while yours slowly disappear, without her even having to ask for it. Why the problem exists? When a man doesn't have his own internal direction, the relationship becomes the default driver of his life, and eventually that creates resentment. Throughout my whole relationship career, including some time in my marriage, I always felt a shift once the relationship became long-term. It started to feel like the relationship was only about her priorities, and mine didn't matter as much anymore. I used that feeling to justify letting myself go, getting out of shape, putting my goals on hold. I told myself things like, that's just what happens when you're in a relationship. For you, it might look like no time for the gym, goals, or growth, quiet bitterness masked as sacrifice, blaming the relationship for personal stagnation, feeling like you've lost yourself but not knowing why. Different patterns, same issue, coping with resentment. And here's the part I got wrong for a long time. Now, let's talk about what you came for, how to keep her happy without losing yourself. What the real problem is. The real issue was never my wife. It was that I stopped leading myself. I wasn't pursuing the things that mattered for me, and no relationship can compensate for that. While the real problem exists, when a man abandons his own direction, he unconsciously asks his partner to fill that gap. That is too heavy for any relationship. Around the time I decided to get sober, my wife and I were finally able to clear the air and talk about the things that needed to be addressed. A lot of it came down to me realizing I wasn't leading myself to success in the areas that mattered to me. Now, that didn't mean putting her needs on the back burner. It just meant making my growth, health, and purpose a priority again, so I could actually support hers better. And life is better now because it feels like we're on the same team. We help each other pursue both our individual goals and our shared goals. We push each other to become better versions of ourselves, so we can show up better for each other too. That's one of the greatest satisfactions a relationship can give you. For you, this might look like more attraction, not less resentment, more respect, a relationship that feels like a partnership, not pressure, a woman who feels emotionally safe with you, a man who actually likes who he's becoming, different benefits, same result, a happy and long-lasting relationship. So the core message that ties all this together is this. You don't keep her happy by disappearing, you keep her happy by staying whole. If this video hit, it's probably because you've been carrying more than you realize. The 5-day Malusog Reset is where I help men rebuild their rhythm, physically, mentally, and emotionally, so you can lead your life and your relationship without burning out or disappearing. Links in the description if you're ready. Tagalog sign off, hindi mo kailangang magwala para mahalin, which means you don't need to disappear to be loved. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.